So I'm going to read so living here, hearing stupid, hears too many sounds. So I'm gonna read this book that I've been reading the other day. And no, we're not talking about Judy Ruiz on my channel. I don't know nothing about her, like, really. So it says, what is God like? Words cannot describe the total greatness of God. And while we are on earth, we cannot know how truly awesome God is. But God is. But we can praise Him for every wonderful aspect of His nature that we do know about. So it says, merciful, merciful, Daniel chapter 9, verse 9, and holy, Psalms chapter 99, verse 9, all-knowing, Psalms chapter 139, verse 1, verse 4. God is holy, is so perfect and good in every way that no person can look at Him and live. See Exodus 33, verse 20. And when God spoke to Moses, He spoke from a burning bush, and even the ground around the bush became holy. And God said to Moses, I am the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. I have seen the misery of my people in Egypt. I have heard their cries for help, and I am concerned about their suffering. So I have come down to rescue them from the Egyptians, and I lead them to a fruitful land with plenty of space for everyone. I am sending you to Pharaoh to lead my people out of Egypt. But Moses said, who am I to go to the king and lead your people out of Egypt? I will be with you. God replied. And then Moses said, but if I go tell the Israelites that the God of their fathers sent me to lead them out of Egypt, and they asked, what is his name? What must I tell them? God said to Moses, do you hear that? God said to Moses, I am who I am. Say to the Israelites, I am has sent me to you, and this is my name forever, and people must use that name from now on. But Moses started making excuses. What if they don't believe me? And I am not a good speaker. Who cares if they don't believe you? Like, they can laugh, ha 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 ha. Oh, it's so funny. You're fairy good guy. Like, don't believe their lies. They're like so delusional and denial. So Lord allowed Aaron, the brother of Moses, to do all the speaking while Moses used his staff to do special signs and miracles. And Moses went to Pharaoh and told him to let the Israelites go free. But Pharaoh did not listen to Moses. His heart became hard, and he did not obey God's instruction to let his people go. God sends more plagues. So God made the water of the river now turn blood, and all the fish died, and no one could drink the stinky water. But Pharaoh would not listen, and he would not let the people go. In Exodus 8, verse 6. And so God made frogs came out of all the rivers and pools in Egypt and covered the whole land. But Pharaoh still would not listen, and he would not let God's people go. Exodus chapter 8, verse 17. So God made swarms of flies cover the land of Egypt, yet the flies did not go near the homes of the Israelites. But Pharaoh still would not listen, and he would not let God's people go. Exodus chapter 9, verse 6. So God brought a disease on all the animals of Egypt, but the animals of the Israelites were spared. But Pharaoh still would not listen, and he would not let God's people go. Exodus chapter 8, verse 24. And so God sent a huge hailstorm, which destroyed the animals and crops and killed all those who didn't heed God's warning. And that's what happened to the people that doesn't want to follow or put their faith in God, or kill all them and put them in hell, because that's what they deserve. Exodus chapter 9, verse 10. But Pharaoh still would not listen, and he would not let God's people. We all deserve hell, but the ones that put their faith in Jesus, they're saved. Exodus chapter 10, verse 14. So God made thick darkness come out over Egypt for 3 days. Yet the Israelites and light where they live, but Pharaoh still would not listen, and he would not let God's people go. Exodus chapter 12, verse 29. So God sent swarms or locusts that ate every plant and tree that hell had not already destroyed. But Pharaoh still would not listen, and he would not let God's people go. Exodus chapter 10, verse 22. And so God caused the death of the oldest son in every Egyptian family, including Pharaoh's son. But the families with a blood sign on their door were spared. That received the Pharaoh let God's people go. Exodus chapter 12, verse 29. So it says, no, I hate the top, get on my nerves. How did the Egyptian people feel about the Israelites leaving? They were more than pleased to see the Israelites go. It meant that the plagues would finally end. See Psalms 105:38. The Egyptian people had put up the 10 horrible curses because of Pharaoh's stubbornness, and they told the Israelites to hurry up and leave before everyone was dead. As the Israelites left, the Egyptians gladly gave them whatever, and they wanted, including clothes, gold, silver. Exodus chapter 12, verse 33, verse 36. Could others join the Israelites on their journey? God is a gracious God. He is kind and loving to anyone who has faith in Him. No matter who they are or where they come from. Others also joined the Israelites as they escaped from Egypt. This group may have included other slaves or some Egyptians who were fed up with Pharaoh. By this time, see Exodus chapter 12, verse 38. If these people follow God's laws, they would also be allowed to celebrate the yearly Passover feast with the Israelites. See Exodus chapter 12, verse 48. Why did the Passover become a special celebration? The Lord instructed Moses that the Passover should become a yearly feast. The Passover celebration would be a sacrifice to the Lord, and it would also be a reminder to God's people of how the Lord has spared them and led them to the land He had promised. See Exodus chapter 12, verse 24, verse 27. Years later, Jesus would die for us during the Passover week, and He became the lamb that was slain so that we would not have to die and be separated from God. See 1 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 7. So I'm going to read the next one. At last, Pharaoh let the Israelites leave Egypt, where they had been slaves for over 100 years, and God had done many miracles to get Pharaoh to finally let them go. However, as God led the Israelites, He did not take them the shortest way, which would have been through the land of the Philistines. God said if the people are faced with a battle, they might change their minds and return to Egypt. Exodus chapter 13, verse 17. So God led them around through the desert toward the Red Sea. And meanwhile, the king of Egypt changed his mind about letting the Israelites go and sent his army after them. Okay, I'm done after this one. And then I'll start reading the Bible later. When the Israelites saw the king's army coming in the sea ahead to them, they were afraid and begged the Lord to save them. And Moses said to them, "Don't be afraid, for the Lord will save you today." And then Moses stretched out his arm over the sea, and the sea opened up, and all the Israelites walked through on dry ground, with a wall of water on each side. But when the Egyptian army led by Pharaoh went after them, God made the walls of water crash down on them, and the whole army was drowned. The narcissism girl downstairs banging the cabinets, and I got it recorded. She better not be expecting me not to play my music, because I'm gonna still play it. Because she's up down there slamming things, because she's narcissism. And she wants attention. Prayer for her. Bye, guys.